Okay, good evening, good evening. How are you doing, Mr. Christian Onyekwere? How are you doing today? It's a pleasure having you here. If you can hear me loud and clear, kindly respond by typing in the chat section. It's a pleasure having you here, and we are here to give you information that would help change things around for you based on your trading. I can see your hand is up. Kindly type in the chat section what you might be trying to say. I do hope you can hear me. I'm also going to type in the chat section and also say good evening there. So if peradventure you cannot hear me, then maybe you can at least see what I just typed, as it should pop up on your screen, right? Excuse me. So good evening once again, Mr. Christian. I'm going to wait for your feedback, okay? I can see you just typed good evening. I still need a confirmation if you can hear me. Beautiful. You said I can. Awesome. Thank you. Your hand is raised up as well. If you have a question or you want to say something, you can quickly type it out before we proceed. And hopefully others will join us in good time. This session is also being recorded, so everybody can watch it much later as well. You can also watch it much later for better understanding. So if you have a question, please ask. If not, please kindly lower your hands, and then we will jump into what we have for today. This is the beginner's workshop where we are talking about how to trade the market the proper way, right? Yesterday, we talked about the software, the MetaTrader 5, how to use the MetaTrader 5 to open trades, close trades, and also modify trades, open, close, and modify trades in order to properly set the stop loss and the take profits, which happens to be a major issue for a lot of traders. Okay, so Mr. Christian, can you lower your hands? Or if you have a question, feel free to type it out. I don't know whether you are typing something lengthy because your hand is still raised up, but notwithstanding, we're going to forge ahead, and then hopefully others will join us on time. So now, as we said yesterday, we talked about the MetaTrader 5, how to use it to open, close, and modify trades. Thank you for lowering your hand, sir. And then now we're going to be talking about the market analysis. Market analysis, we're going to understand what market analysis is and also how to use it. Linda Asifo, you're welcome. It's a pleasure having you here as well, right? So as usual, we'll try to keep this under 1 hour. But if it spills, then apologies in advance. So now we want to talk about market analysis, right? Personally, I have placed a few trades this week, today especially, as Monday was a bit dry. So I placed about 3 trades this week based on my market analysis, and that's what I want to dish out to everybody for you to understand, right? And then based on market analysis, we always say that it is strictly a form of entry and exit based on information. A lot of traders have been trading for a while, but they don't know why they're entering the market to buy or they're entering the market to sell. And of course, they don't know where to exit the market. So this entry and exit is very, very important based on market analysis. It is going to help us to build and implement a trading strategy based on market analysis, right? I hope that we are taking down notes. I hope that we're taking down jottings, and then you have questions, feel free to ask. Now, a quick one. I'm sure we have obviously crossed the road before, but then we normally ask this question, that which one do you think is the right way to cross the road? A, cross the road without looking left or right. B, look left, look right before crossing the road. Let's get your feedback. We have just 2 people here for now, but let's get your feedback. What do you think? Is it A, crossing the road without looking left or right, or B, looking left and right before crossing the road? Thank you. We have an answer from Madam Linda and an answer, okay, beautiful, and also Mr. Christian. You guys should please take advantage of the class for now, right, until others come in. So when we ask questions, answer, there will also be a time for you to also ask questions as well. So obviously, you guys are correct, obviously, Because you know, when it comes to crossing the road, we're talking about our lives. It is a big risk if you cross the road using A. So the same thing applies to trading as well. It is a big risk if you place trades without market analysis. It's like crossing the road. And of course, nobody wants to cross the road blindly. And that's why, as you're looking left and right, you are actually gathering information before you cross. That's the same thing that applies here. What is market? What is market? Right? I would have really loved if we were answering this ourselves just to show you how easy and straightforward it is. But I would also try and be chipping in because I believe that everybody knows what market is. Mr. Joshua and Ifowoshe, you're welcome as well. I believe we all know what market is. And we're not talking about the market where we buy tomatoes, shoes, clothing, and so on. We're talking about the financial market. But basically, if you're going to define a market, we can easily say it is a place for buying and selling, right? Thank you. Christian said yes. It is a place for buying and selling. And what are we buying? What are we selling? We're buying and selling different financial instruments. We're buying and selling the Forex. We're buying and selling cryptos. We're buying and selling equities. We're buying and selling commodities and a whole lot of other instruments at the end of the day. So that is what market is. Now, I want you to help us with analysis because market is easy, straightforward. So who can help us? What do you think your definition of analysis is? The first thing we want to achieve now is to define market analysis, but we need your help. Why do we need your help? We need your help because trading doesn't have to be difficult. One thing we always say at 10 Trade is that everybody, that is yourself included, we have this information in us, but it is the way we are using it. That is what is causing the issue. And that's why we're breaking down the information to everybody. Is somebody typing, what do you understand by analysis? And if no reply, then I would as well answer myself. Okay, so what do we understand by analysis? Anybody? I hope somebody is typing. And if I don't see anything within the next 5 seconds, right, then I'll have to tell you what my own definition of analysis is, and then hopefully you agree with me. Okay, still no answer. Okay, so analysis is simply what we call study. You want to analyze something, it simply means you want to study something, right? Oh, imagine, can you just imagine what happened? Christian said the same thing. As I said, study, he said to study the market. So you can see that we're on the same page, right? Let me say something else that maybe hopefully will be another person's thought process. Apart from studying, and of course, it's the market, that's why it's market analysis. Apart from studying the market, we also evaluate the market, we examine the market, we look at the market in more details because analysis is an in-depth look at something, right? We conduct investigations, interrogations, or whatever you want to call it. It's a proper way to look at something in depth, and that is what market analysis is. Market analysis is simply known as that gathering of information. We gather information from the market. Remember, we said the market has to do with all the instruments that we have, the currencies, the cryptos, equities. So we gather the information from the market, and then we interpret the information. It is that interpretation that will now help us to make a decision of whether to buy or to sell. I hope this definition is clear for everybody. Let me get your feedback. If the definition is clear for everybody, you can type yes, or you can type 3, number 3. If it is clear for you, because market analysis doesn't have to be difficult, we're going to break it down some more. Breakdown is also what you call analysis. We're looking at the breakdown of the information from the market. We can also say analysis is also breakdown. Okay, thank you. I can see Mr. Christian said yes, and Mr. Joshua said 3. Thank you, guys. So let's continue. So this is the definition of market analysis in a nutshell, straight to the point. Now, this market analysis is further broken down into news, which is fundamentals, and then technicals based on what we call price action, support, and resistance. Now, by the way, the fundamentals and the technicals, This makes up our strategy. So if you are here and then you say you do not have a strategy, your strategy will comprise of fundamentals and technicals, right? We're going to first of all tackle the fundamentals at length, and then tomorrow we'll talk about the technicals and then combine them together. It's very, very important that we combine, right? Especially when you are making use of the fundamentals. You can't use the fundamentals alone to place trades. You need the technicals. And that's what we're talking about, the fundamentals first of all, right? So when it comes to news, what do you think we are talking about? News. News is information. Exactly. So when you hear news, news is simply information, right? Just like in Nigeria, we have the news, the information that the elections is just a few days to go, right? And it's just a few days to go. We also have information, being passed around that everybody should be careful. There might be things happening here and there, and so on. So this is all information. Mr. Andrew said, yes, grabbing what you are saying. Thank you, sir. And you're welcome as well. Right, guys, you can also invite others to join us. You can post the information on your WhatsApp status, and let's help others to join in good time. In good time. A lot of us didn't come in good time today. Not really sure why. I always say that what if 10 Trade had said, guys, come over to XYZ place by ABC time to collect $1 million. I'm sure a lot of people would have been there before that time, right? So we need to come on time because truth be told, you can make good money from the business as long as you understand it. And 10 Trade were helping you to understand this much better. So we're going to focus on the fundamentals first of all, which has to do with news, while tomorrow technicals has to do with the charts, our charts, which has to do with price action and support and resistance. So when it comes to news, we have it in these two categories. We have it as the scheduled news or the breaking news. I repeat, we have it as the scheduled news or the breaking news. So when it comes to scheduled news, what do we mean by scheduled news? As the name implies, you already said news is information, right? It could be news from CNN, from channels, TV, from BBC, Bloomberg, and so on. So we have news that is scheduled, and then we have breaking news, right? Now, by the way, scheduled news is the news coming out at a particular time. That's why it's called scheduled. Elections at a particular time, Christmas at a particular time, your birthday at a particular time, right? So that is scheduled news for you. What about breaking news? Breaking news, it is not at a particular time. It can come out all of a sudden. It can come out at any time whatsoever. So now that we understand the differences, the difference between the scheduled and the breaking news, now we're going to continue and then we're going to look at some examples of the scheduled and some examples of the breaking in order for us to understand this better. I can see more people are joining, which is great. Thank you, guys. Guys, please don't forget, you can share this link on your WhatsApp status, on your Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and other mediums. Let's have more people join us and then take advantage of this free information. When most of us started trading years ago, right, we did not have the privilege to attend a training such as this. But you have, a lot of people have, so let's help others as well to take advantage. I always tell people that now that it is free, nobody knows tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, you might be asked to pay X amount of money or whatever the case may be. Some of us have even paid for a training and so on and did not get much value compared to this free session. Yes, indeed. I've heard a lot of people tell me that as well, right? So we're going to look at examples of the scheduled and the breaking. And as we forge ahead now, you are going to help us to answer these questions, right? So get ready, guys, to type so that you participate, which shows that you are very much with us, that your attention level is with us, because the only thing you are paying in this our sessions is your attention. So this news could also be good news or bad news. When we have good news, right, let me ask this question and let's do a test run over here. When you have a good news, that comes out to a country, I repeat, when you have a good news that comes out to a country, what do you think would happen to that country's currency? When you have good news that comes out from a country, what do you think will happen to the country's currency? You know, we're talking about forex trading here. This is currencies, obviously, money. So what do you think would happen to that country's currency? Are they going to be buying it or selling it? Remember, we said it is a good news. So we're going to wait for your feedback. Your feedback is very much needed. And I want to believe this is straightforward. I don't know whether there is a delay, but I've been expecting our answers to be coming in very, very fast, right? So I'm going to wait for your answers to come in, and hopefully they come in good time, and then we can continue. Okay, still not gotten any feedback from anybody. We asked the question. I'm going to ask it one more time, and we'll continue. Great, thank you. I can see comments are coming in now. I'm not sure why you guys are answering slow. Or do you want me to just dish out the information? Don't forget you are here to learn, and 10 Trade wants to help you to learn properly. And that is why we are doing it as a form of Q&A. We're helping you so that you can understand better, right? Okay, Christian said, when is good news we are buying? And Andrew said, the demand of the country's currency will rise. Beautiful. I love the way you can see that's why we always say, let us participate. Because when you're participating, one thing is sure, or maybe I would even say two things are sure. One thing, the first thing is that the different answers that will come from you, everybody here, that you guys would learn from them, you would learn, right? Because you are supposed to be the student, and I'm supposed to be, you could call me the teacher or lecturer, facilitator or coach or whatever. But then also, as you guys are here to learn, not just learning from 10 Trade as well, you are learning from yourselves based on the different answers. And also, I myself, 10 Trade, we're also learning from everybody. And that is the truth. That is what growth is all about. Okay, so I love your answers. The demand of the country's currency will rise, and then when it is good news, we are buying, which is absolutely correct. Just like saying they find crude oil. This is an example. They find massive crude oil in a particular country. Of course, foreign investors will come in, and then it will make the demand for that currency to appreciate. It's even good because more jobs will be created. But then when it is bad news, oh Lord, I was about to say like Nigeria as an example, right? Because what is happening to the currency Naira? People have been selling the Naira, right? But of course, we know what is happening now is a peculiar case with respect to the scarcity, right? Because at the end of the day, this scarcity is also what we're going to be talking about based on market analysis that will help us to understand how to place trades the proper way, right? So thank you. Christian said, when it is bad news, we are selling. Exactly. I hope you guys understand the good and the bad news. It is very, very important for us to understand, right? So let's continue. Hopefully we finish on time, and then you have questions, you ask questions. I want to start to conduct these training sessions in a different way, where we dish out the information in a timely manner, and then we have good enough of time for Q&A or for test, maybe questions you guys answer. And then if you want an exam, let me know. I could just tell you, I could ask questions and you guys answer them just to test your knowledge. And that's why you should also be writing things down. So let us know. We sent out a survey, right, on the Telegram group. I hope you guys have seen it because we need more answers from everybody. We want to know, 10 Trade wants to know how to serve you better. So that survey will be a good one to help you to grow better. So let's look at a few examples of this scheduled and breaking. And we're going to start with breaking, right? Because these are things that have happened in the past. Scheduled is things that are going to happen, but we're going to still look at it and will help us to understand better. So quickly, the first one we have in front of us, earthquake in Japan. Who remembers the earthquake in Japan? That was in 2011. It happened at night, if I remember correctly. I was still in front of my charts back then. I was looking at the majors, and then I noticed that the JPY went crazy, and I checked across board. Earthquake in Japan, what do you think? Is that good or bad? Who can help us? Good or bad? The earthquake in Japan, good or bad? And we have lots of examples. I'm sure you guys also have examples that are not even listed here, because these lists are from a long time ago. So what do you think, guys? Quickly, your answers. I need plenty answers. Is it good or bad? Good or bad? Good or bad? Earthquake in Japan. Thank you. We have 2 answers that have come in. Christian said bad, and Linda Asifo said bad. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys, for participating. Christian said decrease in economy. I believe in economy, not economic. And Joshua said bad. Now you can see one thing I always love when we participate is that you guys will notice that you are all saying more or less the same answers. Why? That shows that more or less we all understand what we are talking about. And that means that if we understand, then we can make money. For you to be able to make money, you need to understand, first of all, it is that understanding and the application of what you understand. That's what is called wisdom. Wisdom is the application of the knowledge, the information that you already have. So it means that we are getting wiser and wiser in the business, and it means that we can make money. Wisdom. Thank you. Ken Dollar said it's bad, but a better opportunity to make profit. Now, we need to be careful here, Ken Dollar. Let me explain. It is bad. It means that the economy of Japan at that point in time was falling. As it was falling, you are supposed to follow that direction because the currency is losing value. So you are supposed to be selling, right? That will bring me a bit to trend trading and going against the trend. You are supposed to follow the trend. Simple, right? Because some traders will say, oh, it is falling, it is time to buy. No, it's like trying to catch a falling knife. It will cut you. You follow the direction. So this is bad, we sell. Simple, straight to the point. Now, let's look at another one. I'm going to mention one that is not here in front of us. Or let's mention one that is here in front of us. COVID, the COVID era. COVID era. Guys, during 2020, March 2020, I can't remember the date exactly, but what do you think happened to the shares? Now we're going into stocks, we're going into equities. What do you think happened to the shares of Netflix during the lockdown, the global lockdown all over the world? There was lockdown in the US, in Nigeria, in Japan, in China, of course. China were the ones, as they say, it originated from. So who can help us? What do you think happened to the shares of Netflix? You can see now, we first of all talked about currency. Now we're talking about stocks. So that means that we can talk about anything as long as we understand it. And it's that understanding that is going to help us to make money. Beautiful. You can see, first of all, Linda Sifo said the shares increased. Christian said increase. And then Andrew said Netflix rules. You guys are what? You are absolutely correct. Simple. I like the fact, or rather, let me say, I love the fact that your answers are coming in fast and straightforward. It means that we are understanding this. So as you said that it increased, I'm sure you know the direction is up. What were you supposed to be doing at that point in time for that information? Were you supposed to be buying or were you supposed to be selling? Who can help us out? Were you supposed to be buying or were you supposed to be selling? I can tell you for a fact that you guys will get it. The next one I'm going to give you now is going to help you guys to think. And that's why we want your full participation. Okay, thank you. You can see the answers coming in. And it seems that we are getting answers from the same people. I don't know the rest of us. Are we not here? Let's join. I can see your names, obviously. You can all see everybody's names. Let's participate. Participation is very key. You need to challenge yourself. Most times I noticed in the past, whenever I go for a class or a session, right, and I just sit down there and I'm just listening, I do not, what's the word? I do not keep information. I do not, there's one word for that. I don't keep information as much as I would have loved, but rather is when I participate that I'm able to retain, the word retain, I'm able to retain information better because as I participate, I'm learning even faster. And then it is in me because I'm even using my own examples. Okay, no problem. Let me ask another question, right? And we're going to use this scenario. Nelson Mandela's death. Now, this is over to you guys. I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about it. Nelson Mandela's death. Was it good or was it bad? We can think of a lot of examples that would help us out. Nelson Mandela's death, was it good or was it bad? And I remember years ago, when I used this example, right? And then I gave, because this is in the past, breaking news is something that's happened in the past and not the future, right? As we use these examples, we now talked about another one, which I would introduce you to, because there are a lot of examples. What do you guys think? Was it good? Was it bad? If you say it was good, it means that you are buying the South African rand at the period of his death. And if you say it was bad, that means that you are selling the South African South African rand at the point of his death. So what do you guys think? I'm still waiting. Only one answer. Wow, from Linda Asifo said it was bad. Any other person? You know what's going to happen, right? Because with the way we're dishing out the information, we're trying to help everybody to understand it better. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch things around and I'll just be giving you the explanations. I might not necessarily ask questions because 10 Trade, we're fully trying to help you. And if we're trying to help you and you are not showing that you want to be helped, then there's nothing that we can do, right? And that's why at times in my own personal sessions, I tend to switch it a bit for everybody. I tend to say things like, many are called, few are chosen. As an example, we have a few people here, right? But as we are few, even there's few inside the few. Will you be part of the few inside the few or the few inside the many? I don't know. It's up to you. The ball is in your court. Let's continue. I do hope that you are paying attention. I do hope that you're taking down jottings, right? But you need to participate, which is very important. Linda said it was bad, and Christian said, I think. That I think. It's not about thinking, you need to be sure. Said, I think it's bad. He said, because he's the hero of the country. Let me quickly explain my own thought process as I'm not really getting the feedback that I would love from everybody here, right? Okay, Andrew said it depends. If you have the rand, you sell. No, look at it this way. Let me explain to you. In this business of online trading, because this is online forex trading, you do not have any currency. You are taking advantage of the fluctuations, right? It doesn't mean you have the rand, because how would you have the rand when you did not know he was going to die? It was a breaking news, right? So let me explain it, and then hopefully it will make sense, and you let me know if it makes sense to everybody or not. Now, if you have said it was bad, you are correct. If you have said it was good, you are also correct. You notice I paused a bit. I tried to make it a bit on the dramatic side. So you're both correct if you said good or bad. Let me explain. For those that said it was good, now this is what they would have been thinking of. They would have been thinking that, oh, Mandela just died, right? Which obviously is a time to mourn. Mandela was about 94 or 95 thereabouts. Of course, he was going to die. So now look at it this way. My thought process in trying to make money, because we're all trying to make money, is that as Mandela passed away, the next thing that was going to happen is celebration of life. They're going to have a party, people will come. That 1 week will be nothing but, people coming in for, and these are the things that happen. People traveled from all over the world. There were celebrities in South Africa during that burial ceremony. There were world leaders. President Obama and his wife was there. David Cameron, the UK Prime Minister at that point, was there. Plenty dignitaries were there at that point in time, right? Citizens from all over the world. So what do you think will happen to the currency of the rand? It will go up because that news, right? We perceived it as good news. And that's what we say, good news, we buy. And because of that, with that information, we buy because it was going to appreciate in value. Why was it going to appreciate in value? Because of the demand for the currency. Why the demand? Because a lot of people, tourism would have been high. A lot of people would have been traveling to South Africa. Do we understand that part of it being good? That's it. And then the other part of it being bad. Some other people, like on the longer term, like business owners in South Africa. The one of good was for the short period of time, was just for the burial ceremony. But for the longer period of time, some business owners in South Africa that looked at it as, this is bad news. Why is it bad news? It's bad news because Mandela has just passed. We don't know what's going to happen next. His presence was keeping peace in South Africa. So what's going to happen next? We don't know. Guys, let us pack our load and let's go to, maybe not Nigeria, let's go to Ghana. A lot of businesses are moving to Ghana, if you're not aware. So let's pack our load, move our headquarters to Ghana. And you know what happened? On the long run, that means that people were selling on the long run, but then buying on the short run for that bearer ceremony. So you can buy for the short term, make your money, and on the long term, for months or years, you sell and make your money. Right? So those that were doing that were those that had businesses in South Africa. And look at what happened. Lo and behold, there was unrest back to back after Mandela's death because there was xenophobia attack. And it kept on doing what? The magnitude of the xenophobia attack kept on increasing up to the point where in Nigeria, I think it was about 2018, that was the last major one that we had in South Africa. But in Nigeria, what happened? Nigeria did what? They retaliated. How? I'm sure you guys can remember. I think it's 2018. I know it was obviously before the COVID. So what happened? They attacked ShopRite. They attacked, I think, the DSTV, MTN, the South African-owned companies. I'm sure you guys can remember. So that means what? That means that it was bad on the long run, and you selling, it should have made the currency to drop in value. I hope what we just said makes sense, because you need to be able to look at this particular information, understand the information, and defend it. You must be able to defend it. So Mandela's own was good and also was what? Was bad. But you just need to know how to make money from it. That's it. And I remember also when we talked about this years ago, from the likes of 2018, 19, 20, that we've been having this particular training, because I like using this example. And then back then, I used to ask this particular question after. And I said, guys, there's somebody that is alive now that when the person should pass, we can make money from the person's death. And then people started thinking, and then some people were, if I ask you guys this question, I know we might get some funny answers. But some people were then saying, or let me ask you, who do you think, right? Or let me just tell you, because as a matter of fact, the answer has already occurred. Because when we used to ask this question back then, like a few years ago, people would say, oh, Donald Trump. I said, no, Donald Trump. Not everybody likes Donald Trump, even though he was the president of the US then, the POTUS, right? Nobody liked him. He was too volatile, so to say, right? And then also, what happened again? Some people said, well, I'm just saying what some people said, don't quote me. Some people said Buhari. And I said, no. Who will come to Nigeria? Would his death, will it bring celebrities from all over the world? Will it bring world leaders from all over the world? No. And then some people said the Queen of England, And then we said, yes, that is it. And as we're saying that, we're now saying to ourselves, she's almost, a goner, sorry to say, because of her age. And then that period, we're hearing some things that she had COVID, she was hearing this, we're hearing that. And then I told people that, guys, wait for it. By the time you get the information that, yes, indeed, she passes away or she has passed away, a lot of celebrities, world leaders were going to go over to the England, UK, and what would happen to the currency of England? We said this, and then what do you think happened when she passed? We all saw it on TV. That was last year. What happened? That moment, what happened? The value of the pounds appreciated because everybody went to the UK to show their last respect, where they did a line estate or something. People were going there. I hope this makes sense to everybody, because it must make sense. Because now we're going to gradually cross over to what? We're going to cross over to scheduled news. But we need to understand what we're talking about. It's very key, very important. There are a lot of examples that we can use to help us to understand better, right? I noticed that some of us, our internet seems to be signing in and out. Probably your internet is a bit shaky, but don't worry, this is recorded. You can always hop over to YouTube and then watch the recording after. You need to watch the recording and then do what? You need to ensure that the information is digesting. Some of us are just coming in a bit late as well, right? So don't forget, you can also watch the recording on the 10 Trade Africa TV YouTube channel, right? And that's what we said, follow us on all the social media handles, follow us on the YouTube especially, so you can watch the recording and then learn some more. Join us in the webinars, ask questions live. That's your opportunity. It's your opportunity like now to ask questions live. But then let's continue, right? For the scheduled news, now there are different sources where you can get the scheduled news from. And the ones that we have in front of us is just a handful. So you can write them down. Bloomberg, Bloomberg has its own TV station as well. Reuters has its own TV station. We have Investing, Forest Factory, and we have a few others. So we're going to be looking at the Forest Factory. We're going to look at the Forest Factory site. Okay, Ken Dollar, you can quickly ask your question. There's a time to ask questions though. We can quickly ask your questions so that we can answer you and then we forge ahead with the scheduled news, right? So please guys, quickly write down this website, or you can do a screenshot or whatever the case might be. We are going to be using Forest Factory as a case study. We're going to use Forest Factory as a case study to get the news from, because the news based on scheduled is going to tell us the date, the time, and even going to give us the possible outcome at the end of the day. So now we're going to switch over to our Forest Factory. So you can also do the same thing from your end. www.forexfactory.com, and then that should bring us to this place over here. So if you look at what we have right in front of us, this is the Forest Factory website. I can see the date is today, which is Tuesday, February 21st. The first news came out 1:30 a.m. Nigerian time. The next one was 8 a.m. All the way down, we have a lot of news that came out today. So it came out plenty news today, all the way to 10:45 p.m. 10:45 p.m. is roughly 2 hours from now. But look at what happened here. This news 8 a.m. This was 8 a.m. in the morning. And you can see we don't have any actual here. I'm going to explain why, right? I did this on purpose so that we understand. So we have all of this here, information, very key. We have the date here. We have the time that the news came out. We have the currency that we're talking about. And then we have this, what is known as impact. Impact, you can see different colors from the orange, the yellow, and the red, right? What these colors mean is, if you look at the first one, which is orange, if I put the mouse on it, it will say medium impact, then yellow is low impact, and then red is what? High impact. So as you have these colors, it gives us the tone of the volatility. The volatility when this news is released, is it low, is it medium, or is it high, right? We always say pay attention to the high impact news, because that is similar to when like pouring petrol on fire. I don't know whether anybody has put petrol on fire before. If you have, then you would know the reaction that we normally get, right? So if you look at what we have right in front of us, you can see all this news. We have actual, forecast, and previous. I repeat, we have the actual, forecast, and previous, but we don't have the news releases here. And this was a long time ago, 8 a.m., 9:15 a.m., 9:30 a.m. And that's because I haven't refreshed it. I opened this since this particular one, I opened it since 7:02 a.m. That was in the morning, because the first thing, I repeat, the first thing, guys, listen to this carefully. That's why I left this open. The truth is that I normally check the news at about 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Nigerian time. That's the first thing I do, right, before checking the chart. But this one is 7:02 a.m., right? So I need to refresh this page. And once we refresh the page, we'll see the remaining data that will come up here. So I'm going to click on refresh now for us to see, right? So I've just clicked on refresh. Now you can see the remaining news. Can you see? The remaining news has come out. Next one is 10:45 p.m. That's why you have this arrow here, and that's why you don't have any actual here, right? So let me explain to you how to interpret this news. We're going to explain to everybody how to interpret the news. So now look at what we have right in front of us. We have the previous, which came out maybe like last month. We have the forecast. Forecast is a prediction. We're predicting that this is the outcome. We're forecasting that this is the outcome, but we don't work with the forecast. Forecast can be misleading. We wait for the actual to come out. We wait for the actual to come out, right? So for this news, there was no actual. You don't do anything. This one was 47.4, 5.08B. The B stands for billion. Percentage is percentage. Where you see T is trillion, and so on, right? But we're not even after the figures. It's not just the figures we're after, because we're trying to interpret this news. For us to interpret it, what we're after is the color. Look at the color of the actual. This color is red. As the color is red, immediately it is what? It's telling us to sell this currency JPY at that point in time, meaning that the currency should drop. This one is green, so green is buy. These two are green, which is buy. This is red, sell, green, buy, red, sell, black. Black is neutral. It means you are not buying, you're not selling. Red, sell, green, black. I'm sure you get the gist of it going all the way down. So this is what it means. For this one that is green, it means that we're supposed to be buying euros at this point in time. This one that is red over here, it means that we're supposed to be selling the pounds at this point in time here, and so on, right? But this news, it just doesn't work directly in this manner. Remember we said you need to combine it with the technicals. Technicals is what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. But then for this news that we've gotten that is telling us to sell GBP over here, or maybe this one sell JPY, or this one buy pounds, or whatever the case might be at that point in time, it is one currency. You need to know, I repeat, it's a thing of need. You need to know how to pair with two currencies, right? You need to know how to pair with another currency. We are going to be looking at how to pair two currencies together. I can see your question is a bit lengthy. I haven't been able to read it, and that's coming from Ken Dollar, right? I'm going to read it shortly, but let's continue. When we continue, you guys can drop your questions now or later. I want us to finish with what we're talking about, and then we'll look at the questions together, and we would answer them together, right? Very, very key, very, very important. It is that we're going to answer them together, and it must make sense to everybody, right? So now this is how to pair two currencies together, as we can see on the screen. Sorry, let me switch that now. So this is how to pair two currencies together. So we should be able to see that on the screen now. So we're going to explain this to you, and then you are going to do one or two exercises. We look at questions before we call it a day, right? So currency pairing is one currency against another currency. I repeat, one currency against another currency. And that's why we always say you cannot obviously be doing business with just one currency. It is one against another. And if you look at something, I'm going to show you guys something now. Let me just quickly switch over, right, to the trading application, the MT5. You can see the MT5 here. Like yesterday, where we clicked on new order. Clicking on new order, you can see what we have here. We have sell, and then we have buy. When you click on sell, it is this currency pair. You can see it is Euro USD, where Euro is the first currency and then USD is the second currency. So you could either be clicking on sell or you could be clicking on buy. So we need to know how to interpret the news, right? Oh, sorry, how to pair two currencies. We've already interpreted the news. So we need to know how to pair two currencies together, right? So now this is what we're going to do. The first currency here, first currency is X, second currency is Y. I repeat, first currency is X, and then second currency is Y. So in the instance where we looked at the MT5 now, you notice that Euro was the first one. So you can say Euro is X. And of course, Y cannot be euros. You cannot be doing business Euro against Euro. It has to be Euro against another currency. So X and Y. The first currency is known as the base currency, while the second currency, Y, is known as the quote or counter currency. So we have two currencies. X could be USD. If X is USD, Y cannot be USD, obviously, right? As we always say jokingly, it's only in Nigeria that they're doing Naira to Naira, especially what's happening now in the country, right? Where you are buying Naira to sell Naira, right? But internationally, it is one currency against another currency. So this is it. When you click on buy, which of these two are you buying? When you click on sell, which of these two are you selling? Now, in order for us to understand this very fast, in order for us to understand this fast and as easy as possible for us all, whether you click on buy or you click on sell, guys, pay attention. You can also watch the recording as well. Whether you click on buy or click on sell, you are always attacking the first currency. You're always dealing with the first currency. Meaning that if you click on buy, automatically you're buying X over here. And as you are buying X, what are you doing to the second one? You're doing the opposite, which is sell Y. And then when you click on sell, automatically you are selling X. Automatically you're selling X over here. What are you doing to Y? Automatically you are buying Y, right? It's a market. It's a business to and fro. Buy, sell, buy. Hope you guys understand this explanation when it comes to pairing of two currencies. Very key, very, very important, right? I need your feedback that we understand this. I need majority of us at least to say we understand this, and then we can look at an example, right? Because the truth now is that, as I always say, you can watch the recording over and over and over again. It will be uploaded straight to the YouTube channel of 10 Trade so that you can watch it and then it makes more sense. You know, the more you watch something, the better it will stick. Okay, so I can't see any comment with respect to this pairing. Ken Dollar, don't worry, I haven't read your comment. It's very lengthy. We're going to read it together and then we'll look at it together as well, right? So, who is with us? Do we understand what we have done based on a pairing? Look at the pairing, it's still right in front of you. Excuse me. Look at the pairing, it's still right in front of you. It's straightforward, I believe. Two currencies, one X, second one Y. First one is base, second one is either quote or currency. Whether you click on buy or sell, you're always attacking the first one, as you can see in this case. This is the first one here. This is the first one here. So what you do to the first one, you do the opposite to the second one. Okay, we have just a few answers that came in from the handful of people that are here. It's not a problem. We would proceed accordingly, right? You should all know why you are here, and you should all know what you need to do, right? Anifo Joshua said, understandable, sir. Thank you. Linda Asifo said yes, thank you. Christian also said noted, boss. Thank you. Anifo Joshua, I sent you a message on WhatsApp, right? I hope you have seen it and maybe you could reply later. We'll see how to attend to you with respect to your request. Guys, remind me when we wrap up, I could also give you my WhatsApp number and then you can chat me up as well. As I always say, please, I am not in the country as such, so calling might not be doable based on the time zone and based on other factors as well. But if you chat me up on WhatsApp, then no problem, then we can continue the discussion and all. Okay, so remind me to give you my number. But since you said you understand this, good. Now we want to do something. We want you to answer this question, right? So let's look at this next slide. Guys, this is the next slide. Let's assume from Forex Factory, we got information telling us to buy GBP. We got information telling us to buy GBP, right? And then we have Euro GBP here. We have Pound USD. Okay, sorry, let me add a third one here. We have AUD. Let me add a third one here because you guys are going to answer this and we'll look at a few questions before we call it a day, right? So this is the third one, AUD JPY. Is it going to be a buy or a sell? So who can help us? The first one, Euro GBP. What do you think your answer is? Are you clicking on buy or clicking on sell based on this information that we got from Forex Factory? Now we understand the pairing. Now this is just a little classwork for us to do together. It's very little classwork for us to do together. So once you do this classwork, then it will truly, truly show that we understand or we don't understand. Please, let's answer the first one first of all. Let's answer the first one after the other. One after the other. Okay, so I believe Anifoshe Joshua said, if I'm not mistaken, you said your answer is sell, and then Madam Linda said sell. Okay, thank you. Anifoshe Joshua said sell. So we have just two answers from two people. The rest of us, not really sure what's going on, but we're going to help you out now, right? And please, we're going to be rounding up in the next few minutes. We want to start keeping the sessions to the 1 hour marker so that you can easily go back and watch the recording. It won't be too strain us if it is 1.5, 2 hours at length for each day, right? So we want to be ensuring that the recording is straight to the point, and then you can watch it as many times as possible. One thing about when you want to learn something that I also do is that instead of sitting in front of the system and watching, I could be listening to it. You know, if I'm probably doing something, I was about to say if I'm doing the dishes, I don't know why that came to my mind. I normally help out with the dishes, so I don't know, maybe that's why. Okay, so if I'm doing something and I could just plug in my AirPods and then I'm listening to a teaching, a class. I don't necessarily need to be watching the person or looking at the slides. I could be listening, and of course, I start to understand better and better the more I listen. So you need to, bombard yourself with this training, with this information that we're dishing out. Okay, guys, I can see somebody said cannot hear. If you cannot hear, I'm not sure, might be from your own end. But guys, can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, please type yes, I can hear. Don't just type yes, I can hear. So Basi Eyo will be able to know that people can hear. And if you cannot hear, say, of course, you will be able to say anything if you cannot hear. But if you can hear me, please, guys, say yes, I can. Thank you, Madam Linda said yes, I can hear. So that should answer the question or the comment from Basi Eyo that said can't hear you. So every other person can hear. So that means that it is not from my side, it is from others. And somebody said yes. He said, yes, I can hear. That he knows exactly what you are saying yes to. Okay, so if it is not clearly, then it is your internet. Okay, Basi Ayo said, hear you now. Good. If you cannot hear clearly, it is from your own internet, because I'm sure it is very clear from others. So we know in Nigeria, we don't have the best internet. I'm not saying where I am is the best or the best or the best, but it is still very good, right? So let's look at it together. Some of us said sell, nobody said buy. So just about a few of us answered, not a problem. We can tell us your answer for the second one, GBP USD. Your answer for the second one, GBP USD, anybody? Is it a buy or a sell? I'm going to help you guys out. Is it a buy or a sell? GBP USD. Okay, Linda Sifo said buy. Any other person? Anifo Joshua said buy. Kendola to said buy. Thank you, Kendola. Said buy. So we have 3 answers buy. No problem. If I have 1 or 2, I'm good to go. Christian to said buy. So we have 4. Now for the third one, let me just put buy B here in front of this one. For the third one, AED JPY, what are we clicking on? Are we clicking on buy or are we clicking on sell? AUD JPY. What's your answer to the third one? Let's know so that we can help everybody out. What's your answer to the third one? AUD JPY. We're going to wait for your feedback. Okay, I have 2 answers here now. You have 2 answers here now. Okay. So 3 answers. If I'm not mistaken, Kendola said sell. Basi Ayo said, I don't understand you, sir. The answer to the third one, AED JPY, are you clicking on buy or sell based on information that we got telling us to buy GBP? Information told us to buy GBP, and then we asked AED JPY, what are we doing? Madam Linda said, I don't know. Christian said, it depends. You know, the funny thing is that I like our answers because our answers are kind of, it shows, oh, I'm not sure what's going on. I don't understand, and so on, right? Let me just give you guys a hint. You can say I put this one here, then I quickly typed it out here. I put this AUD JPY. Why? Because I wanted to throw everybody a curveball. I wanted everybody to understand this thoroughly. So it seems that we don't fully 100% understand this. You understand this, but maybe it's a bit shaky and all. So let me explain. The information is by GBP, right? And if you look very well, on the first one that we have Euro GBP, you can see that GBP is the second currency here. On this one, GBP is the first currency here. What about this one? Is GBP here? There's no GBP. What does that mean? That means that we're doing nothing. We're not buying, we're not clicking on buy, we're not clicking on sell because we don't have any information on this. It is GBP we have information on. So I put this here on purpose to find out how you guys would answer the question, we react to it. I hope it makes sense now. If it did not make sense then, no problem, as long as it makes sense now. So if you look at the first one where you clicked on sell, this clicking on sell simply means that you are selling the first one here, euro. You remember we always attack the first currency. We're selling this one here, and then we're buying the second one, GBP. So that means that this GBP here is correct. So the answer is sell. So this one is buy. You click on buy, you're buying the first one, GBP, and that's the information we have here. So already we already know that it's correct. So this is correct, this is correct. Is this one that nobody really understood. But I hope you understand it now. I hope you guys understand it now. Let me find out from you guys. I hope you understand it now. I hope it makes sense, right? It must make sense. That's what we are here for. We're here to help you to make sense of what we are talking about, right? Okay, so let me quickly scroll up to read the question from Ken Dollar. And every other person, if you have a question, feel free to ask. We'll use a few minutes to do Q&A before calling it today. Okay, Ken Dollar said, yesterday I was current in a trade. Oh, please, we need to write our things properly. Yesterday I was currently in a trade, CAD JPY to be precise, and all of a sudden around 8 p.m. there was a massive, let's try this properly. There was a massive spread and it put me out on a loss for a long time. Reasons that's US spread, reasons that, oh Jesus. So my question is, in such occasion, is it the market in our favor or at our disadvantage because the spread couldn't allow your trade move according? Oof. I think to the best of my knowledge from reading what you wrote, which you didn't compose very well, but you are talking about the spread, I'm talking about news, right? Let me explain something to everybody very well, guys. When we have high impact news, right? High impact news, something tends to happen in the market. One of the things that will happen in the market is that the spread is going to increase, right? Because it is volatile. The volatility is now extremely wide. So because of that, you need to be aware that your stop loss, it should not be that tight. If it is tight, you easily get knocked out and it might as well go in your favor much later. So you need to understand spread when it can increase. And then apart from the fact that it can increase during news period, the spread also will increase. Listen to this, guys. The spread will also increase at the close of each day. When the candle is closing, and that should be by 11 p.m., you guys can check on it. The spread is going to increase, right? I believe we have about a few more hours to the 11 p.m., right? When the candle will close, right, for the day. Check around that period, the spread would also increase. So as you're talking about the spread during this news or that news period, make sure that during high impact news, you are aware that the spread would also increase. There's some other things that happen during high impact news periods with respect to the spread. So we need to also be aware of these things so that we are better planned. We plan our trading much better. That's why once you have the understanding is number one, understanding. And once you can apply what you understand, which is the wisdom, you'll be able to trade much better because it's all about wisdom at the end of the day. Hope you understand, Ken Dollar. Hope that has helped you out a bit based on what you said. And please, guys, if you are writing something, whether short or lengthy, take your time. Don't rush. We'll wait for you so that you can compose it properly for us all to understand. Okay, so guys, do you have any questions for us? Okay, thank you. And Kendra said yes. You sent a message to me privately, though, but no problem. So guys, do you have any question for us? We want to help you out. Okay, Linda Sipo said, in Forex Factory, actual is 4M, forecast is 4.9M, and previous is 4.3. What does it mean for USD? Now, which information is that? And then don't forget, one thing we are not making use. Let me switch over to the Forex Factory. Let me switch back to the Forex Factory and look for the one that you mentioned. Is it here? You said 4M. Aha, okay. This is it over here. This is it here, 4M as opposed to 4.09 and 4.03. So let me quickly explain this to her and to everybody here. The information is for everybody. Now, you know, this third section here is for previous. This is the previous news release. We don't work with the previous, right? It is between the forecast and the actual, the forecast and the actual. Now, I showed you the shortcut on how to interpret it. You can see this color is red, and because it is red, it means that we sell, right? First of all, sorry, let me clean this up. I need to move this higher. Let me move it up a bit. Because it is red, it means that we're going to sell, right? This is red, shortcut, we're going to sell. But then for us to understand this better, the relationship is between the actual and the forecast. So you click on this detail here, click on the folder detail, and then to give us more details. Look at the details we have here. It gives us the source where the news is coming from, the National Association of Realtors, the measures, the usual effect, frequency, the history, why traders care, next release, March 21st. But then what we're after in order to interpret this is the usual effect. Usual effect states that actual greater than forecast is good. It is a statement. This statement reads, if the actual is greater than the forecast, then it is good. Remember, good means what? Good means buy. So look at it, everybody. 4.00, which is just 4.0, is it greater than 4.09? Remember, the actual is 4, right? The actual came out and it was 4. The forecast was 4.09. Is the actual, is it greater than the forecast? What do we think? Is the actual greater than the forecast? I'm going to wait for your feedback, Madam Linda, also, since she asked the question. So you let us know, is it greater than forecast 4? Is it greater than 4.09? Our answers need to be fast. You know, we don't want to have this recording too lengthy. Okay, and Madam Linda said lower, right? So that means that because it is lower, it is not good. If it's not good, then it is bad. And that's why you can see it is red. So bad means that we sell this currency at that point in time. But guys, you do not place trades based on only the fundamentals. It is said that where two good heads are, or rather let me say that properly. It is said that two good heads are better than one. So that means that the fundamentals and the technicals combined together are better than using just one, right? So tomorrow, when we talk about the technicals, we'll show you how to combine the two of them together. I repeat, we'll show you how to combine the two of them together, right? I hope that is good enough for everybody. If you have any final questions, feel free to ask, right? I actually enjoyed today's session because a lot of us participated. We need to participate more, right? Participate more, okay? And I'll also give you my number now, right? Don't forget, please, you can chat me up. But if I don't reply in good time, probably based on the time zone, or I might be in another session. After this, I have another session actually. So obviously I might not be able to answer as fast as you might want me to. And you know, in Nigeria, it is just after 9 p.m., right? And as I said, I'm not in Nigeria at the moment, right? So somebody said I came late. Was this session recorded? Yes, the session was recorded, Mr. Isaac. Please connect to the YouTube, right? Connect to the YouTube channel. This is 10 Trade Africa TV. And then you'll find the recording there. It will be uploaded sooner than later. I believe you were not with us yesterday as well. So as you were not with us yesterday, right? It also means what? You missed out on yesterday's session. So you can also watch yesterday's one where we talked about the MT4, MT5, how to use it to open, close, and modify. Tomorrow, we'll be looking at the technicals and showing you how to combine the technicals and fundamentals together. And of course, we'll use examples. I could also use one or two of my live trades from this week, right? I placed about 3 trades this week, right? One was a good winner, while the remaining 2 were small losses. So the good winner took care of the losses. And one thing we always say is that there is no trader that is invincible. You would have losses. So do not be bothered with the losses. Just make sure your losses are smaller than the profit that you make. And that is one problem that traders are having today. the losses are bigger than the profits. And then with all the profits, with the big loss, one big loss or two big losses, it wipes out all the profit that they have made, right? So that's why we're going to be explaining to you further how to place trades the proper way, how to calculate your risk to reward ratio, your risk management, and so on, right? So if no further questions, I would like to say thank you to you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It has indeed been a good one today. Please, when the video is uploaded, then you can watch the recording, right? And then let us know how we can help you out. A survey has been posted on the group as well. I'm sure some of us are in that Telegram group. So please do well to answer. It will help us to know how to serve you better, whether you like morning session, that's for training, or afternoon or evening, or whatever the case might be. We're trying to see how to, give every client what they need without any exception, right? So with that said, we want to say thank you guys. It has indeed been a good one today. Let me stop the recording.